harmless cat which wants to make friends. Oh my gosh, the goldfish! The fish market is 2 blocks down. Turn to the right. Olive. Takes a look at yourself in the mirror, Addie, and sees how funny you look.
And welcome to Counsel of the Day with Shanrae. And I am Shanrae. We are in our first quarter of 2026, February 2026. And I'm so glad to be here with you all. Let me change this over. Let me remove this from here and add my other screen in. Yes, so again, this is the first quarter of 2026. And I'm excited to be here. So we're going to dive in. We have 30 minutes of this. And this month, we are going to be talking about something kind of close to men are from Mars and women are from Venus. And we're just going to be unfolding the psychological process of men and women and how we can better understand each other. Okay. So we're going to be talking about the maturity level of men and women and the development and all of that. And we're going to get down to the nuts and bolts of everything and how we can understand our spouses, our fathers, our brothers, our male friends, our cousins, how we can better understand each other so we can enjoy each other. Life is a gift. And it's a blessing to be able to just enjoy each other. So give me one moment because I need to check on my different platforms. Excuse me. Let me turn this down. And so again, welcome my Instagram family, TikTok family, YouTube family, Facebook family, LinkedIn family. Good evening. And y'all know I come on Tuesday and Thursday nights of the month, whatever month I'm doing my Counsel of the Day with Shanrae. And so at 9 p.m. from 9 to 9:30. So let's go on and let's get started because we only have 30 minutes. We have less than that now. We have 27 minutes. All right. So I'm a degree counselor from Ashford University. I acquired a dual degrees from Ashford University. My main one is in psychology. Hey, Peaches, how you doing? And my second degree is in organizational management. And so I'm so happy to see you all on this evening. Yes. Okay, so let's move this on. I am a Christian counselor. I say it all the time. Let me do my website disclaimer. And I'm going to have to open it up because it didn't print out. So please I'm not even going to say it. Y'all see my website disclaimer. Normally I do it. I'm not going to do it today. And so I'll do it on Thursday night. Next is our scripture. That's my bio. I'm not going to do that. We're going to skip along because we got now 26 minutes. Okay. So my scripture for the year comes from Deuteronomy 31:6, the NIV version. It says to be strong and courageous and do not be afraid of them or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. In other words, I can do all things through Christ. Hi, Faith. How you doing? It's so good to see my Aunt Faith. Good to see you. All right, so we're going to move this along tonight. Our key points for tonight. Let me open this and I'm going to close it back. Open it a little bit and let's get it back out. Key points for tonight is we're going to be, like I said, we're going to be unpacking and unfolding the psychology of the male and the female. So we're going to talk about the puberty, responsibilities, and the individualities of both male and female on tonight, and how we can better understand each other so we can have a happier, healthier life, whether it's with friends, whether, thank you, Aunt Faith. Yes, Deuteronomy 31:6. That's correct. So let's talk about our key points. Let me open this and I'm going to close it back a little bit. Physical growth and development of both us, male and female. So it says that typically women experience faster physical and psychological growth than men do. And guys, this is an open platform. So if you have any questions, hey, T7R, how you doing over there in Instagram land? And so it says that women, they grow physically and psychologically a lot faster. We know that than men do. We reach developmental milestones a lot faster than men, mentally and maturity wise earlier. Studies suggest that women mature around age, I guess, at they heighten maturity at age 32, while men often reach similar maturity levels around age 43. Okay, so that seems like a bit old, but it really isn't. Those of us that have been 30, been in our 30s and 40s, we know, as you move along in life, you're always learning something new. And so, of course, as you grow and you learn, we're supposed to learn from the things that we experience. So, and there's an old school saying, experience is a good teacher. I say experience is a good teacher, but if you can learn from instruction, that's baby, you're a wise person. You're a smart person if you can learn via instruction. All right. So it says here that girls generally finish growing physically by age 15, generally, whereas boys continue growing into their late teens and their early 20s. So a lot of us have seen, I can talk about my middle child, my baby boy, Poppy. Poppy was kind of short for a number of years, and then like when he turned 17, all of a sudden he was taller than his dad, and so it's about 17, almost 18 years old, he just shot up. And so men they experience a growth spurt later on in life. So physical growth and development. It says girls experience growth spurts earlier, usually around 11 or 12. And y'all know how sometimes we see little girls in middle school. Hey, who's that? Over there at Instagram, like, how y'all? So sometimes we'll see like some young girls in middle school, and they're like 6 feet tall. They hit their height. They're like at 6 feet tall, like in middle school. And then they grow into them tall, beautiful, model-like bombshells. I tell you, that they have the height, the beauty, and all of that, the stature, and all of that. They grow into them bombshells. But it's like they just spring up in middle school, with everything. Boys, again, they grow later on in life until their late teens or early 20s. Now, let's talk about our brain development. And now this is also contingent on if there are not any developmental or cognitive issues or genetic or hereditary issues that may be involved that will kind of, hey Cole, how you doing? That will kind of like hinder some things. But brain development, research indicates that girls' brains, particularly in emotional and cognitive areas, optimize connections earlier than boys. So we have all of these electrical nodes that are going on in our brain and everything. So they start firing up. They start firing up and connecting earlier with girls. Okay. That doesn't mean that there's anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. Because again, we see girls, to me, they become too grown. As I used to hear older people say, oh no, somebody that's 13. Oh no, she's too grown. Sometimes it comes across as they're too grown when they're just in their little mid-teens, just getting out of their tweens and all of that. So it's a pros and cons with that. Maturity, psychological, emotional, the maturity gaps between men and women, boys and girls. So there's a study that found that women typically reach their proper psychological maturity, once again, at around age 32, while it takes men to reach this point roughly 11 years later, which is an average around 43. So brain, again, our wiring, our brains are often more wired for social interactions and for, this is women, emotional regulation. Now we're going to jump into some behavioral differences between men and women. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing, because to me, we need that balance. Sometimes I am too soft in certain areas, and then my husband, he'll come in and he'll bring a perspective to it and be like, no, this is it. And then I have to sit back and think about it and be like, you know what? You are absolutely right. How is this going to happen? If how are we going to get to point B if A does not happen? So to me, this is a good thing when it becomes down to a certain behavioral differences. And here, the findings say that men are more likely to be perceived as immature. Okay. All right. With 40% of people who surveyed suggestions that immaturity can be a positive thing. Fun traits in a relationship, which it is. It really can be. As long as nothing should be in excess. Okay. And societal drivers. So the faster that maturity in women is partly driven by earlier exposure, okay, to societal pressures, responsibilities, and in some cases, having to navigate complex interpersonal dynamics. I always say, when my youngest sister passed, she was 37 when she passed. She died in 2014. But I always say that was my first baby, my first child. That was my youngest sister, but I was 6 years older than her. So we had to pull together. I had to help my mom, and so I helped do everything, and so they used to call me the little young mom, and all of this is what this is talking about. How women, little girls, they develop a lot faster because a lot of times of societal things. And so if you're the oldest daughter or the oldest child, or if you're, maybe even the middle, it just depends on what is going on in the culture of your home. A lot of times, and back in the day, it seemed like women had a little bit more responsibility than the men did. You had to do this, you had to do that, you had to do that, you had to do that, you had to do. And so, of course, it felt like, it will not feel like it really was that girls and little women, they were considered little women. And so this is what, not just the theory and the findings are, but this is just how it's been, not just here in America, but globally across the world. Okay. And so research suggests that while both genders can change, women often show greater consistency and behavior and changing, to have higher potentials for transformational growth, leadership compared to men. It says men frequently struggle to reconcile long-held traditional beliefs with modern expectations of change, often adapting only under specific strategic or relational pressures. In other words, what the findings have found out is that women change a lot quicker, or they grow faster, they mature faster than most men. And now it's getting into the factors, what will kind of get the different genders to change. And it's saying that a lot of times, and we have Cole on here, and if there's any other men on here, if you want to chime in, what the findings, and I'm going to jump back and forth between men are from Mars and women are from Venus. I've been listening a little bit to that theory with that teaching as well. And it talks about right here with this finding and this teaching is that it'll take a man, in order for them to change, I guess, for the better, or to mature in areas that they need to mature in, it'll take the specific things to happen to them, or strategic things to happen to them, or relational pressures for them to happen to them. There was a movie that came out years ago. This just popped up. It's not Bachelors. Maybe it was Bachelors. But it was a movie, and it showed, it was with Kevin Hart and all of them, and it showed where each of them had their relationships, And it took them, most of them, except for one of the men. One of the men kept saying, I appreciate my wife. I appreciate my wife, and I'm grateful, and I'm going to do whatever she tell me to do because I know the value of her and my relationship. And they used to always call him a punk, you a punk, you a punk, or whatever. Oh, Kevin Hart was married to Wendy Williams in this movie. Oh my God, that was funny. And then the different ones, the different scenarios. But it took each of them to get into a place pressured or whatever, where they felt like, you know what, I'm about to lose it all if I don't grow up, if I don't start seeing the value of what I have, you know. And so this is what this finding is talking about. All right, so I'm just talking. Let me move this along really quickly. Is there anybody that wants to chime in about the genders and growth and maturity? What we at? Psychological. What we at? We still there? Okay. All right. So gendered approaches to change. Women often embrace change, it says, more readily because they're socialized to view life in cycles, whereas men tend to find it harder to embrace change. Okay, so that's called the gendered approaches to change. Another approach is the motivation for men. Men are generally more likely to change for the better when they're deeply in love, it says, and feel a strong personal desire to improve for their partner rather than due to external pressures. And then there's another one that's called societal pressures. And it says men tend to face a void in defining their roles, struggling to move from being traditional providers to more nurturing equal partners. And so this, or gender role conflict, GRC, often leads to what they call resistance. And then it talks about being consistency. So it says, while men make quick romantic changes, okay, women are more likely to exhibit consistent, altruistic, and egalitarian behavior over time. So and basically they're saying women tend to be more loyal, I guess, and instead of just changing up, whatever, and moving around and still facing the same issues or whatever over and over again. So then there's another thing that says leadership growth. Research indicates that women often demonstrate higher potential for transformational leadership, which includes being positive role models and empowering other people. So in short, men tend to change when they're motivated by specific relational things like love, while women show a higher, more consistent propensity for self-improvement and adapting to new roles. Now, again, I'm not talking about these things to down anybody or anything like that. We're just right now trying to get a better perspective of the genetic makeup of both men and women. Now, are there women that are like this too, that are flighty? Yup. There's a whole lot of women that are just like this, real flighty, immature. That Peter Pan syndrome, I will never grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. Something like, so it goes in both areas. I've had the pleasure of meeting a lot of people in my lifetime, a lot of couples and different things. So I've seen men that experience a lot of immature things within their relationship and their marriage and their family, and they've come to try to get some counsel so they can grow together, they can build together, and that they can overcome whatever obstacles is hindering their relationship from being the best that they can be, or whatever like that. So it goes both ways. But I have to talk about the studies, theological long-term studies with how the development process is with men and with women. Now, the book Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus, I like how it talks about how men are really motivated. They're really motivated by adoration. Okay, they'll get motivated when they're adored, when they feel validated, when somebody validates them, and everything like that. And then it talks about how women if they're not getting that nurture, that they feel that they need, that it's just a recipe for disaster. And so if you mix both together without covering up a bunch of failures, when I say that'll be a beautiful recipe for a beautiful blossomed relationship. I'm seeing on here, okay, I thought somebody said something on Facebook. Okay. And so let's move on to the study again, and it's going to keep saying, it says it again, about how men psychologically mature a lot slower than women. That's just our genetic makeups. That's it. So according to a CBS study, New York, a new study confirms a suspicion that many women have harbored for generations, that men again mature slower than women. And so the study commissioned by and it's funny, by Nickelodeon UK, Nickelodeon United Kingdom. And they found that men do not reach maturity again until they're 43, while women again at 32. So the New Yorkers seem to agree with the findings. And it says a Spring Valley, New York woman said that her husband, they was doing interviews. Her husband still has a lot of growing up to do. And she said, and he's 49 years old. so it says that men mature slow again. So the poop jokes, she was saying, the playing with the kids, the cartoons, still laughing at Beavis and Butthead, she said. She was saying he's 49 and he still need to grow up. But to look at the positive side, I know the kids and everybody else is saying, man, dad is so much fun. He's, he's so cool. And it brings that balance in the family where somebody could, just bring that laughter and that fun and stuff in there. Ken Salvatore, this is another person they interviewed. He's 19, said that he is looking forward to a long life of being immature or immaturity. He said he planned on goofing around a lot for sure. And somebody named Rich Lobip, I can't pronounce his last name, Lobiqui. He told 1010 Wins, because they were interviewing just random people. He said that Glenn Shuck, that he still hasn't matured, and he's 61 years old. This man, he said he still hasn't matured. So they're saying that you might as well enjoy whatever. This is what Glenn said. You might as well enjoy whatever life that you have left. Lorenzo said, hey, hi. Yeah, you're right, Lorenzo. He said some of them never mature. And Kashima said, that's the truth. Kashima said, that's the truth. I got to show this. Hold on. Some of them are laughing. Kashima said, that's the truth. Lorenzo was like, yes, some men never mature. You're right. And it's, and there's pros and cons to all of this. Okay. So this study is not about, remember, whatever I do is not about downing anybody. It's about understanding each other better so we can have a happier, healthier life. Okay. And so Mr. Glenn said that you might as well enjoy it with whatever time you got left. He said there's no point in being mature. It seems like you have more responsibility. Lord help. Then there's an 81-year-old person in Rockland County man. He said that he believes that he hit maturity when he turned 75, and he's 81. So that's so funny. He said, according to the studies, women were twice as likely to feel like the adults in the relationship. And a quarter of women said that they make all of the important decisions. So, however, 40% of people thought immaturity could help keep a relationship fresh and fun. So again, 40% of people out of the whole study said that they thought that somebody being immature in a relationship help keeps the relationship fresh and fun. Now, I'm going to say it depends on the outcomes of the immaturity, because there are some things that can just keep a family, or keep a couple, or keep the relationship keep it just constantly in peril. And that there's nothing fun about constantly being in peril with that. When I was listening to, because I'm listening to, I don't have time to read, so I have to listen to my audiobooks. So listening to the Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus, it talks about how men, when they feel they say basically what the author was saying, John P was saying, is that you have to kind of just watch the person to see how they react. If something is brought up, like a situation that is brought up, that has, that is detrimental, that the immaturity level is causing detriment within the relationship. And then if you're going to speak to them about it, and when you're speaking to them, they have the attitude, I'm gonna do what I want to do, you can't tell me what to do, then that's something that you have to then make a decision. Wait a minute, is this something that I'm willing to stay and work with? Or, because when a person is actually immature to a level, and I'm saying a person because it's not just men, it's I've seen it on both ends, men and women, that are not as mature as maybe they should be at the age that they are. And when they are, let me show this exactly. And that is a form of being toxic. Exactly. Yes, it is. And so if the person is unwilling to be accountable, because accountability, there's a difference between maturity or being a certain level of immature and unaccountable. There's a difference there. And so if the person is fighting to be unaccountable, then there's some things that you have to kind of look at to see if this is something that you want to hang in there and to with, because you're signing up for a life of turbulence and turmoil. If a person is then, again, I'm going to say it again, I'm going to keep saying, there is a difference between a lack of maturity and a lack of accountability. So that's not what I'm talking about here. Again, everybody matures on different levels. They do. But everybody has to grow, and everybody has to learn at some point. So, where we at? Oh, I did good tonight, y'all. We're gonna move on to part 2 on Thursday night. But this month we are talking about how we can unfold and unpack the psychology or the psyche of both men and women, how we can better understand each other so we can better get along and have a happier, healthier life. Again, and then we have to remember, we all come from different types of homes, different cultures. A lot of us and even if you're of the same culture, if you're African American, if you're a Caucasian, but just because you may be of the same race, it doesn't mean that you come from the same culture. Every home has their own culture. And so when two people are coming together, they're trying to blend together, and they're trying to I always tell people, take all of the good where you come from and build from there. And learn from all of the negative things that you maybe experienced. Learn from that, so you don't repeat that in your own, as you become an adult, in your own home, in your own environment. Take all of the good and build from there. Learn from the negative things that you experience, and then don't incorporate that into your new life and your new world. Okay, so we're going to continue this on Thursday night. Again, this month we're going to be talking about the psyche of men and women. I'm going to be referring back and forth to with the book Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. It is a very interesting book. It helps you better understand you as a person, as a woman. It helps a man understand women understand men, and vice versa. You may not agree with everything that's being said in the book, but it is giving you a better understanding of the biological build up of the opposite sex, and how it'll help you for better understanding how you can better communicate and better understand and deal with the person, whether it's your father, your brother, your cousin, your sister, whoever it is, someone of importance in your life. Okay, so we're gonna move on. I didn't want to stay past 30 minutes, and I'm gonna try to do this year. Where we at? Oh Lord, I haven't been moving this forward, y'all. So our takeaway for tonight. Let me open this up a little bit and close it back. Our takeaway for tonight is research suggests that while both genders can change, women often show greater consistency in altruistic behavior and tend to have a higher potential for transformational growth. Now, if y'all can't think of nothing else, think about how it's more women in a church setting than there are men. Women are more open to change for the better. Okay. And then a lot of times the women, whoever they're close with, they'll maybe share some of the things that they see a difference in a woman's life, and they're like, okay, I'm really starting to like this new you, and someone that's more integrous or anything like that. So this is what this is saying. The takeaway says that research does suggest that both genders can change, but women often show greater consistency in altruistic behavior and tend to have a higher potential for transformational, growth-oriented leadership compared to men. Okay, men frequently struggle to reconcile long-held traditional beliefs with modern expectations of change, often adapting only under specific, strategic, or relational pressure. So they have to really be pressured if they want to change. Okay, even if they boys say, you know what, I ain't hanging with you no more because you know what, you ain't about nothing. that's pressure. That's pressure right there. That's pressure. So okay, and guess what? There are a whole lot of women out there that the only time they'll change too, is if people start pulling away from them. I can't do you no more because you's a hot mess. I can't be affiliated with a hot mess. So okay, it's it just depends on the person's also of their character, but we'll touch on that Thursday night. So I am so glad that you all have come on tonight. Let me move to our quote, because I'm going to really try to stay within this 30 minutes, y'all. Our quote, let me open this up really quick and close it back. Our quote for tonight said, "It is our duty as men and women to proceed as though the limits of our abilities do not exist." And that's from Pierre de Chardin. All right. It is our duty as men and women to proceed, to move forward as though the limits of our abilities don't exist. In other words, we're to proceed. We're supposed to move forward as if we don't have any limits at all. All right. And so I'm going to, y'all know I have to do my service announcements. I don't get anything. I'm doing this because whoever may see this in either tonight or in the near future, I love giving information that helps people, especially when they're in need of help. This is my theory website for my fellow theorists. Let me open this up a little bit. This is where my findings and my teachings and longitudinal studies have come from. Those are the websites right there for my fellow counselors and theorists. All right, Better Up. Create a personal professional transformation through expert coaching. If you're looking for a life coach, www.betterup.com. You can contact them and they will partner you with a life coach that will work for you. Ada Plus Community. Ada Plus Community. This empowers adults with ADD, ADHD, OCD to live their best lives. It says a different brain requires a different approach. www.adapluscommunity.com. Better Help. If you want a safe space to speak with a licensed professional online, BetterHelp offers affordable counseling sessions for individuals, couples, and for family members. www.betterhelp.com. All right, 988 Crisis Helpline. If you know someone that is struggling, or if you're struggling, it is okay to share your feelings. Contact the 988 Lifeline, which is a 24/7 lifeline, free and confidential support for people who may be in distress, This is a prevention and crisis resource for loved ones, friends, anyone that you may know that is in distress, and the best practices for professionals within the United States. 988 Crisis Helpline. I shared before. Hey, Helen, how you doing? I shared before that I've lost a friend early 2025 due to distress. And I wish to God that they would have contacted 988 Crisis Helpline. You know, people sometimes get in a place, in a space where they just need to just talk or just to listen. Please, if that's ever, you know, someone in that position, 988 Crisis Helpline. All right, Learning RX. I love Learning RX. This is a brain training for adults, and it's for actually for everybody. So it says that thousands of clients, they have strengthened their skills with Learning RX. They said that the average graduate improved their IQs by 13 points by going to Learning RX. It's made significant, these people have made significant gains in their skills, like their working memory, long-term memory, and their attention. www.learningrx.com. All right. And please, if there's a past counsel of the day with Shanrae that you've liked, or maybe you missed, or you want to rewatch, go to my YouTube channel at Shanrae Price. Hit the bell, like, subscribe, and then go and find whatever past counsel of the day series that you may want to rewatch, and then go on and click and watch it there. And finally, I am a professional one-on-one counselor, and if you're interested in professional one-on-one counselor services, feel free to contact me via my Facebook Messenger at Kibwe Owens, or you can just email me at Shanrae Cherie Price at gmail.com. I'm a lifestyle strategist, and my aim is to aid you in your life's goals and your life's dreams. Guys, I will see y'all Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for part 2. And then we're going to unpack certain things throughout the week. This is a short month, y'all. February is a short month for us. This is our Black History Month, and it's a short month for us. So I'll see y'all Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Y'all have a good night. Good night, everybody.